When I was a kid growing up in Mesa, Arizona, I remember not long after we had moved to Mesa, there was a knock at the door, and a young lady was at the door asking for food for a food drive. And I said, oh, of course. And I went and grabbed some cans out of the pantry, and I gave them to her. And she looked at me and she said, are you in our ward? And I said, what's a ward? And she said, never mind. And then I asked her, I said, oh, are you collecting food for a tzedakah project? And she said, what's a tzedakah project? And I said, it's okay, never mind. And
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, did you get out and see the conjunction this morning? The moon has a crescent with Venus right above it, there on the shoulder of Virgo. It was pretty cool. I saw it in my Urim and Thummim, but it's a lot different when you see it for real out there out in space. It was awe-inspiring. It's too bad there is no woman who's got that shared interest with me. And I can wake her up in the middle of the night and say, dear, come quick. Check it out. Too bad. And so, also what was impressive was the Urim and Thummim, when I first clicked it on, showed a fireball coming from the forehead of Leo the Lion, the Leonid meteor. And it, of course, triggered the memory of how the news for the past several weeks had been talking about every single feline in the state of Utah munchie crunching on Utahns. And so, as the foremost anthropologist of the ancient Middle East, that took me in my associative memory to the scriptures about how Judah, Utah, phonetically the same, would munchie crunchy on the apostate Mormons who would not listen to their Jewish Christ. And also brings back David, who struck Goliath in the center of his forehead. Or if you're more of a Greek, Perseus with Medusa. On the back of the white horse. And so, the latter days, we are told in prophecy that the hearts of Mormons would grow cold, as it was freezing this morning, 32 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit 32, the book burning, book freezing temperature. And so, yes, the last couple of days I was showing you firsthand from the comments that I've been getting from Mormons of how that prophecy has literally been fulfilled by Mormons. And so signs in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. From Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And you, of course, study your scriptures, right? So that you knew what I was talking about and didn't need me to reference it for you, right? Because as a Mormon, you study your scriptures and don't come onto my channel and argue with me and send hate threats, death threats out of ignorance, right? You know your scriptures, so you knew what I was talking about. Likewise, the 72 virgins going out around the world know their scriptures. They are scriptorians, going around the world telling everybody that the Jewish Christ is here and everybody needs to listen to him because the prophecies of the learning of the Jews in the Book of Mormon have been coming to pass. Right? You know your scriptures. You know that it's not Christian. You know it's not Jesus. You know it's not the restoration of the gospel. Because the Book of Mormon ends with utter destruction of the Mormons. Thus, Joseph Smith's second vision, which is an exact same pattern as Lehi's second vision, because you study your scriptures, you already know this, is warning you of the latter days and the utter destruction of Mormons. Talking about the Jewish Christ. And so I've warned you that the missionaries need to come home. I've tried different ways to present that for you, and I've been using a thumbnail picture on a regular basis for a little while now, since I did the Heber C. Kimball video. And yes, I know a sacred secret about 2 of those 3 women. Shh. But the church refuses to send them home. Prophets did a church news segment last night in which they again claim that, the church is so true because these youth have such a great testimony, which means knowledge having produced the results of their faith, not faith without works, not a spiritual witness, are so faithful after the church's campaign to hypnotize the youth into thinking celestial, replace everything with Jesus, rather than the learning of the Jews. And I've warned you that your missionaries, now that Armageddon has begun, as everybody thinks Jesus is going to come in Jerusalem now, to stop the war, and depending on which Jesus your religion is a part of, will murder the other side. And then go around the rest of the world and murder everybody. So that your religion is the last religion standing. That these missionaries are being placed in great jeopardy. Because there's only 72,000 missionaries up against 1.8 billion Islamists. 2.2 billion Christians. And you can claim that you're Christian, but those 2.2 billion disagree with you because your Jesus is not their Jesus, because their Jesus is Trinitarian Jesus, not non-Trinitarian Jesus. And you can claim, as you will, that the Book of Mormon warned you that the great and abominable church is so numerous compared to the Church of the Lamb, which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with the inverted pentagram of Lucifer on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, and therefore couldn't be the Church of the Devil. And that the Church of the Lamb couldn't possibly be the learning of the Jews believers within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so you're going to have these 72 virgins going around the world knocking on doors saying, hey, have you heard about the Book of Mormon? And they'll be giving Book of Mormons away. And people are going to read the Book of Mormon if they don't slam the door in their face. And they're going to go, Jews? You said you were Christian. The title says another testament of Jesus Christ. Why does 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2 say it's in the learning of the Jews? You took me to 3 Nephi chapter 11 verse 8. And then took me to Moroni chapter 10 verses 3 through 5 and left out manifest. And then these 72 virgins will be exposed as liars and deceivers, covering up the truth that they're supposed to be the learning of the Jews. And these 4 billion enemies of Jews around the world are now going to target those 72 virgins for hate comments and death threats. And violence already has begun, even in the United States of America now. Canada, the other day, reported that a bomb had gone off at a Montreal Jewish synagogue and Judaism center, as the G7 leaders unanimously called Israel to stop their war. Who was responsible again? And the whole world is against the Jews in Israel, wanting to exterminate them from the face of the earth, wanting to cause a genocide by telling them to cease fire, by falsely accusing them of war and bloodshed. But again, if you believe that Jesus is coming to Jerusalem to destroy the other wicked people, you don't see the danger to yourself that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints set for you. And so, while looking on YouTube yesterday, I was surprised that there were 2 individuals who have channels on YouTube teaching Mormons about Jewish Kabbalah and the Book of Mormon. I have yet to go over them to see how legitimate they are. If it's just a Mormon who read the Book of Mormon and saw 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2 and then Google searched Judaism, Tree of Life, and it showed Kabbalah, and they go, oh, Kabbalah, and then they think they're an expert because not any other Mormon knows about the subject matter. That is the tendency I've noticed in people that claim to be in professional positions, that it's only because they have their unique lingo, like doctors, they learn Greek for the various names of stuff in the medical profession, or Latin for lawyers. And so the regular common folk don't learn those languages and therefore don't understand the lingo. And so these people think that they're superior and be able to claim their job is meaningful because of this coded language. But if they were to explain it in simple layman's terms, everybody'd go, oh, well, shouldn't you actually do this then? No. I'm the expert. Listen to me. Hilarious. And so I have yet to find out how good their information is. But I still can't find Joe Samson's videos. He used to do lectures and they were on YouTube. I still to this day cannot find them. Where are they, Joe? Where are they? His book, written by the finger of God, back in 1999, helped me figure out that I needed to correct the Sade. I had the wrong association in my decipherment. And so by running tests, his book, Perfect Timing, as I was able to figure it out and then identify the matches in the vocabulary tests on the script. But there was another video by the Arizona Center for Judaic Studies. This is the University of Arizona. And I was surprised. Oh, okay. Because it was about the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith and Jewish Kabbalah. Now, it doesn't surprise me that there's Jewish Kabbalah in the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. That's not what surprised me. I've been telling you this for years. It's the fact that a Jew actually read the Book of Mormon. He's there in Mesa, Arizona, and he tells the story, and I'll put in the little clip for you, about how a Mormon was collecting food, knocked on his door, and then tried to sneak in the golden question, "Are you in our ward?" And he's like, "What's a ward?" But again, he's not talking to Mormons. This lecture is the Arizona Center for Judaic Studies. There are Jews in that center. And so, like I've warned you, if a Jew reads the Book of Mormon and goes, "Hey, I recognize Jewish Kabbalah in it," do you not think that Islamists and Christians likewise recognize that it's in the learning of the Jews, and you're not fooling them by calling it Christian? You are setting yourselves up to be attacked, to be threatened to deny the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. The Benjamin Franklin Johnson syndrome. The one who went to the Danites with his family and then was arrested and then threatened, leave Joseph's church and join our Danites. And he says, "I never denied my testimony of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints." He became a Danite. He caved to the threat to denounce the Jewish Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. And this is coming, Mormons. You were warned. The prophets of Jesus warned you. They just tricked you into not believing that it's the Jewish religion that it's a Christian religion you can't deny. Because it's better to be popular and accepted rather than to be hunted and denied. Right? So why don't I come back to church again? Why don't I continue to pay the extortion threat tithing? But Mormons all know that they're willingly paying the extortion tithing in order to... It's gambling. You have no promise that your parents are going to be saved in the celestial kingdom with you. Your dead ancestors, yourself, your children. It's all gambling. They threaten you. Pay us the money. Now you're worthy. Now you can go and do the outward performances of saving your family. Or if you don't do your genealogy, you save somebody else's family that they don't want you to save. Like Jewish Holocaust victims. So, it's real simple. And it's not long enough for me to shower and shave.